Hi, everyone. So I'm just going to share my screen immediately and virtually take you away to beautiful destination Norway. Can you just confirm, Sharon? Can you see the shared screen?
I can see your screen, yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to explain the destination to you tonight. And what I'm basically going to do is almost break it into two different destinations, because that's how I feel really Norway is. It is both a summer and a winter destination, but you would be looking at very, very different experiences and parts of the country that you would explore in the different seasons. So for the summer season, we recommend to explore the southern parts of the country. Not so ideal for the winter months, actually. And this is focused on the big major cities, a lot of hiking opportunities, incredible scenery, of course, that's everywhere in Norway. And most importantly, the very famous Norwegian fjords. So this is what we recommend you would explore in the summer months between May and September. Come winter, that's when you should be heading above the Arctic Circle, because we have the wonderful northern lights in North Norway. You cannot see the northern lights in the southern parts of Norway. So when it comes to that winter magic for destination Norway, you want to be above the Arctic Circle. And here you have the northern lights, husky adventures, reindeer, Sami culture, some unique accommodation options, king crab, and of course I'm going to take you through this in more detail. So just a little summary. So firstly, let's start in the south, and starting with Oslo, which is the capital city. Now, I'm going to have to be blunt here and say that you really wouldn't visit destination Norway for a city break and come to visit only Oslo. It's very rare, and understandably so, because from Norway you rather want to go and explore the incredible scenery and nature that Norway has to offer. However, Oslo is a beautiful city and very ideal adding on, for example, to your other adventures in the country. So Oslo is the capital city, and it is located in the Oslo Fjord. Fantastic scenery that you will experience in this city. Here we have some of the more famous landmarks that you would be exploring. For example, in the bottom picture here, you have the relatively new opera house, very interesting design of it, and it's located out on the Oslo Fjord, as you can see, and you can walk on top of the building and onto the roof, so you can get incredible views both over the fjord and the city. Here in the middle picture, this is Holmenkollen, and believe it or not, that's a ski jump. It is huge, and I've been to the top of that, and to ski down there would absolutely terrify me. But we have an interesting option for the summer months when it's not possible to ski jump. We go down there by zip line. So if you're adventurous, you can go for that in the summer months. But this is in fact the ski jump, and the most famous one in Norway. As you can see, it is absolutely huge. You can visit it without having to jump, we promise. There is a lift that will take you all the way to the top for simply a breathtaking viewpoint, where you will absolutely see over the entire city and the Oslo Fjord. Incredible scenery. And there is the ski museum there as well, taking you through all of the skiing culture that Norwegians are best known for. They say that their babies are born with skis on their feet, and I swear I've seen a toddler, the moment they stand up on their 2 feet, they're put on skis and thrown down slopes. So it is the skiing nation. Here, this building here is the City Hall, located right down by the harbor area, gorgeous area to stroll around in. And the picture here in the background is of one of the larger parks. It's a gorgeous park with these statues and sculptures from Vigeland. So Vigeland Park, fantastic experience to spend your day walking through this park. Oslo is actually, especially if you think about the Nordic capitals like Stockholm and Oslo and so on, Oslo is best known as the city of museums, really, because if you're into museums and culture, Oslo is the place for you. As an example, we have a wonderful Viking ship museum, which is of course very interesting to hear all about the Viking culture of the Norwegians. We have the Nobel Peace Prize, which is a museum. So the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded here every time, and you can go in as it is a museum as well. And then, of course, we have the famous Norwegian Munch, where we have I'm sure it, because like myself, I'm not an artist, I would say, but everyone knows this painting, don't you? The Scream. So that we have in Oslo as well. Now to take it to another city, which is another very charming, beautiful Nordic city called Bergen. This is on the west coast of the country and is often referred to as the gateway to the fjords because of the location of it. So there you are, actually in the heart of the fjord area of Norway. And Bergen is a wonderful city to explore and roam around in. You can, for example, you can see here in the background, this is Bryggen Wharf and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site right there in the city center. Colorful buildings, that's what it's all about. Small, narrow cobblestone streets, just wonderful place to roam around in. You can see the funicular here in the picture. So what they offer in Bergen is to go up the funicular to the top of this mountain, where you get this beautiful view over the city itself of Bergen. And here in the middle picture, I'm really not allowed to say this because I am Icelandic and my dad's a fisherman, an Icelandic one, but this is quite possibly the most amazing fish market in the world. So right here in Bergen, you can explore the incredible fish market in town. Now I'm going to be taking you to the fjords. And the fjords of Norway can maybe be a bit overwhelming because there are so many of them. They're all over the place and they're all still very different from each other. So very much depending on your own interests and likes and budgets and what have you, we can help you choose which fjord of Norway is most optimal for you to go and explore because they're so different from each other. I'm basically going to be covering 4 fjords in this presentation because those are the 4 best known fjords, most scenic for very good reason. And I'm taking you south to north. So the southernmost fjord is Lysefjord. And Lysefjord is located right here by the town of Stavanger. So you could actually fly directly to Stavanger and base yourself in the city and explore Lysefjord from there. Stavanger is another very charming, small, colorful city. One of my personal favorite cities, actually, in Norway. I love roaming around the city there. The best ice cream in the world can be found in Stavanger. If you want to go and explore Lysefjord, there are a few options to do so, depending on your interest. For example, you can go on a fjord cruise. Now this is, those smaller boats which are a scenic cruise. So just a few hours where you would sail here in the fjord and see it basically from below, if you will. You can actually also explore Lysefjord from above though. And this is a hiker's paradise. This one, the bottom picture over here is Pulpit Rock, one of Norway's actually kind of landmarks. It's quite famous, this hike over here. You can hike up to this rock over here, and it's a very easy, mild hike, but you have to be relatively fit. But I mean, if I could do it, I think anyone can. It takes only about 2 hours, and it's a very easy path, all the way up, well marked, very easy to navigate. And your reward is this. And I'm telling you, when you reach to the top here onto this rock, and you can go as close to the edge as you want to, that's optional. And the view over the fjord is just absolutely breathtaking. If you look still at the bottom picture, you can see deep into the fjord towards the top of the image. So basically what you can do is you can also drive or get a guide to take you deep into the fjord. And right there in the heart, you will find another hiking opportunity in the top picture here called Kerak Rock. So this is a proper hike. Here you have to be very fit, actually, and will take you the full day to get there and back down again. But this is your reward. You can actually stand on this rock here, which is beautifully nestled in between those 2 cliffs there, and get this very Instagrammable picture, if you ask me. So, like I said, Stavanger, it's hiker's paradise to explore this fjord this way. Taking you to the next fjord called Hardangerfjord. Are you going to remember these fjord names, ladies? So this one is Hardangerfjord. And this fjord you would explore by self-driving, because to reach it, you will need to get there basically on your own, or a private driver, for example. But this one you would explore if you are a hiker, because that's what this fjord is all about. For the most famous thing about Hardangerfjord, and the best way really to explore it, is to hike to Trolltunga. So you can see this rock here standing out. This is called Trolltunga, which means the troll's tongue. So you can maybe see where the name comes from. This is an intense hike. I still personally haven't done it, but I'm on my way in May. And I know I will have to train a little bit for this one because this one is quite a serious hike. It will take the full day and you do need to be reasonably fit. But look at the reward that you get. That fjord is incredibly scenic. So that's the Hardangerfjord. The third fjord that I'm going to quickly tell you about is the Sognefjord. When it comes to all of the fjords in Norway, this is the most famous one. So the Sognefjord here is a very, very deep fjord, a little bit north of here. And the reason it's the most famous one is that we have actually kind of commercialized it, if you will. We have put together a gorgeous program where you don't have to self-drive. We will take you in various incredible ways exploring this fjord. What we recommend to do is something called Norway in a nutshell, and that really is what it is. So you would start in the capital city of Oslo, stay there for 1 or 2 nights, whatever you wish, and take a train from Oslo to the train station of Myrdal. When you arrive in Myrdal, you switch over to a scenic train called the Flom Railway. The Flom Railway you can see on the top right picture here. This is considered one of the most scenic rail journeys in the world. So the Flom Railway is a scenic rail ride where the train goes really slowly so you can specifically enjoy the breathtaking views all around you. There are waterfalls as well along the way. And for example, one of the most magnificent waterfalls, the train even stops in its tracks so you can enjoy that waterfall on the way. The Flom Railway takes you from Myrdal to Flom. What happens when you leave your train in Flom is that you board a cruise, and we take you on a scenic cruise ride across this fjord over here. As you can see, a bit of a V shape called Narayafjord, and that directly translates to the narrow fjord. And basically, when it comes to the fjords, the more narrow it is, the more dramatic it is, and more scenic and kind of, yeah, very dramatic feel to it. So you go on a scenic cruise on this fjord here. And then you take a bus down to Voss. In Voss, you take a normal rail to the city of Bergen. And then in Bergen, you can enjoy another little city break there. So you get Oslo, Bergen, the 2 cities, and an incredible fjord journey. Believe it or not, we have made this trip as a day trip. So you can go from Oslo to Bergen in a day. And we organize it so well that we even take your luggage from Oslo to Bergen. So you just have your day backpack with you on this journey throughout the day. You can also, we can tailor make it for you. And you can, for example, lengthen Norway in a nutshell by staying in one of the fjord hotels, as an example, and explore this area in a few more days if you would like. So this is kind of why the Sognefjord area is one of the more famous for Norwegian fjord experiences. This one is more unique. This is Geirangerfjord. Geirangerfjord, incredibly scenic, like all of them, but this one is kind of a bit more adventurous, maybe, if you will. It is a bit far north, so it is quite a journey from Oslo. And this one you would self-drive. So we don't have public transport putting it as nicely together as in Sognefjord. So this is just the various options you have depending on what suits you. But the Geirangerfjord area, heading up to the town of Ålesund, is incredibly beautiful. For example, you can stop at this viewpoint over here. And when you stand here, this picture on the left is what you see. So this is where you see the fjord kind of curving into a U-shaped fjord. So that's a scenic spot over here. And the very famous Trollstigen road. You see the zigzag road down the mountain here. And Trollstigen, which translates to the Trolls Road. So Norwegians and their trolls. A great adventure driving down this mountain here. This whole area is, again, a hiker's paradise. If anything, maybe even more so than from Stavanger. But here you have countless hiking opportunities in these fjord areas. Ålesund itself is a beautiful city, very interesting city. You can see here the overview looking over the city, how it's built. An interesting fact, in early 1900s, the entire city center burned down. The Germans helped to rebuild it, and ever since then, it is illegal to build a house from wood in Ålesund. So they learned basically from that big fire. It is a very, very charming city to enjoy and very outdoorsy. So if you're an outdoorsy person, this is your paradise. You see the yellow building in the picture here? That, as an example, is one of our favorite hotels that we use most often, because right out of the hotel doorstep, you can enjoy some water sports, mild water sports like kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, right there on the waters around Ålesund. So it's gorgeous. You can see in the right picture here, you can hike. Norwegians love their outdoors. You can hike up these stairs here, you can see along the mountain, all the way to the top to get this view over Ålesund. But don't worry, if you're lazy like me, there is a road that you can drive it from the other side. So you can still see this viewpoint even without hiking all those stairs. Just to demonstrate the beauty of this area with more hiking opportunities. So to summarize, because like I said, Norway, it is indeed a complex destination. So that's why we're here to help, to narrow it down for you and help you choose and decide what you would like to explore depending on your interests. And just to summarize the 4 fjords I took you through, here in the south is Lysefjord. You can see, if you look closely on this map here, because I actually like this map, the thin line deep in here from Stavanger, this is the Lysefjord. So you can just imagine maybe how narrow that fjord is and how breathtakingly beautiful. This is where you would hike those 2 hikes or do the cruise from below. Hardangerfjord over here, you need to access it by self-driving. And here you have Ullensvang Hotel, which is a fjord hotel. So we have a number of specific fjord hotels that you can stay in. And this is where you would hike to the Troll's Tongue. Sognefjord over here, the most famous one. So this one, as you can see from the map, you would go from Oslo to Myrdal, Flom, sail here and ending in Bergen. So this is the massive, big Sognefjord. The furthest north is Geirangerfjord. This is where you would go for hiking, self-driving. This is where you have the viewpoint and the Trolls Road. Okay, so now I'm going to take it to the north. But before I take you to all of the winter magic that we offer in Norway with huskies and northern lights and so on, I want to first tell you about a very special place called Lofoten. This is the Lofoten Islands. And unlike what I just told you, stay south in the summer, north in the winter, this is the only place where I would actually say go there in the summer. Even though it's north, it is quite a journey, but definitely worth it. This is outdoors paradise. This is photographer's paradise and nature paradise. It is breathtakingly beautiful, these islands. When you self-drive around here, what you would do is you would go and stay in some of these cabins, very famous fisherman cabins here along the island. Roam around in your own car. Look at this football field. I mean, honestly, I would drive to Lofoten just to see that football field. I would love to kick one football on that field there with that scenery around me. I mean, wow. You can see the dramatic scenery, and it's all dotted around with these small, cute fishing villages. Very charming. Outdoors paradise. Hiking options are absolutely endless. And they are in Lofoten very much into their water sports. So here we have paddleboarding, surfing, and all kinds of water sports in Lofoten. So now further north, and see the map here, you see these islands kind of sticking out of the country here. So those are the Lofoten Islands. So you can see they are actually above the Arctic Circle, but it's a bit difficult to navigate them for the winter months. And the reason that I explain why really we don't recommend that you self-drive in the winter months is simply safety. We obviously want you to be safe at all times. And it is snowy and icy road conditions. There are road closures and snowstorms and so on. So not unless you're very confident winter drivers, we really say leave the self-driving to the summer months. Otherwise, in the winter months, If you want that winter magic and for the Northern Lights, we have a few bases that we recommend you go to. Tromsø is one of them. And Tromsø is actually quite often referred to as the capital of the Northern Lights. Obviously, other places will argue this because who can possibly claim they are, the capital of the Northern Lights? But hey ho. Tromsø is located here very far north. It's very ideal to base yourself here because it is a fantastic city. It is quite a big city, and it is a huge university city. So it's very lively, and there are a lot of restaurants and pubs to enjoy during the evenings. And then we have a huge variety of activities that we can take you to. So you can base yourself in the city, and then we will pick you up and drop you off to explore all of those fantastic winter experiences. For example, it's all about that, winter magic with the reindeer skin, and we offer snowshoe hikes, for example, guided snowshoe hikes, and we have husky sledding. I'll tell you a bit more about the husky sleddings in a moment. And then we have the Sami culture here in the north as well. So Sami is the tribe that lives here in Lapland. And as you can see, Lapland, there is a Finnish Lapland, a Swedish Lapland, and a Norwegian Lapland, because the area of Lapland itself covers the entire northern region up here. So it does go over all those countries. The Samis are reindeer herders of Lapland, and that is all about the culture there, and you can meet their reindeer, and they tell you stories and sing for you, and it's a fantastic experience. So here you're looking at husky sledding. Husky sledding is something I think everyone should do at least once in their life. It is just that kind of magical experience. I've been lucky enough to go many, many times husky sledding, and I just can't get enough of it. That feeling of going, because when you arrive at base, the dogs, the huskies, they will be barking like mad. It's very noisy and overwhelming. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because the huskies, they're so excited. This is what they live for. It's to go out running, pulling those sleds. So they are so excited, and there's just all this excitement in the air. So you get comfortable and sit in your nice snug sled with your musher here, taking care of the dogs. And then I'm telling you, the second that he releases the brake and off you go, there's just complete silence. The huskies just completely stop barking and all excitement, and you just are whisked away into a winter wonderland in the middle of nowhere. There are two options for you that you can choose from. You can just sit here comfortably and enjoy the ride, or you can actually become a musher yourself. So we do offer the opportunity, if you want to actually control the sled and the dogs, and you will be taught how to tell the dogs where to go and so on. Tromsø, as mentioned as well, it is a fantastic base for the Northern Lights. Northern Lights sighting in Tromsø are typically very successful in the winter months. We are that far north in Tromsø, and we offer 3 different types of Northern Lights hunts. So we pick you up at your hotel, and you can choose between them. We have a Northern Lights cruise, which is a dinner cruise, very comfortable to sail away from the city lights. We have hunting the Northern Lights by husky. And again, I'm Icelandic, so I may not say this, but this might quite possibly be my favorite Northern Lights experience in the world, because I went husky in the evening and the Northern Lights were just dancing above our heads. It was magical. We have another option of hunting the Northern Lights, and that's by vehicle. That's where we will pick you up at your hotel and drive you out into nature away from the city lights to enjoy the fantastic light displays of the Northern Lights. Just remember, we can never guarantee seeing the Northern Lights. It is a completely natural phenomenon. From Tromsø, we also offer snowmobiling, and we do this in Camp Tamrock, which is quite a distance away from Tromsø. So we pick you up and you drive for about 1.5 hours or so to get to the snowmobile base, but it is incredibly scenic. So you're getting a scenic drive included as well before you go on the snowmobile yourself. You do need a driver's license to drive the snowmobile, and 2 people share one snowmobile while driving. Then we have another very, very unique place, very far north. Again, look at the map. Look how north Kirkenes is. It actually is so north that it goes here above Sweden, above Finland, and reaches the Russian border. So Kirkenes is actually located right there by the Russian border. This is almost as far north as you can get. So the Northern Lights can really shine up there because it is very dark in the winter months. So Kirkenes there, we offer similar to Tromsø. So here you have all those winter activities where you meet the reindeer herders, the Samis, you go husky sledding, fantastic husky sled opportunity here. But what's very unique about Kirkenes is the king crab safari. So that's what Kirkenes offer and Tromsø doesn't, because they have king crab in the waters there. What you do in Kirkenes is we will put you on basically, we'll have a driver on a snowmobile, and there's a sled at the back of the snowmobile where you sit. We'll drive onto the frozen lake, and there you will be part of pulling up the net full of king crabs out of the water. So they are alive and fresh, and you can hold them, and these things are huge. It's very interesting. We then put them on the snowmobile, the king crab, and drive back to a hut. And in the hut, we are going to cook them and have the most fresh and delicious meal ever. So you will get to taste the king crab fresh out of the water. This is me in the middle picture here enjoying it. Now, I'm allergic to seafood. So I didn't care because that experience was so amazing that I would not let that stop me, and I had it anyway. So forget about lobster or anything like that. The king crab is amazing. So it is such an adventure. It's very, very unique. What's also very unique about Kirkenes is the accommodation. So you might have heard, a lot of people have, about the very famous ice hotel. The ice hotel itself is actually located in Sweden. But in Kirkenes, we have something that we call the snow hotel, because we're not allowed to call it the ice hotel. Sweden owns that. So this is the snow hotel, but this is the exact same concept. The whole hotel is built out of ice and snow, and here you sleep. So this is in the resort where you would be staying the whole time. We recommend 3 nights in the resort. At that point, you will have experienced it all, including husky, Sami, king crab. There is one main building, nice and warm. So you're not going to be dining out or anything in the snow hotel. You will be eating in the nice, warm, big building, and there you will spend your evening. But what you can do when you stay in the snow hotel is you can also go in and explore it all. So it's not just a question of you going into your room and going to sleep, but you're going in and exploring inside the snow hotel and looking at the various rooms and everything, because each of them have its own unique design. So in the evening, after you've had a nice dinner and maybe a couple of shots to warm up before the night, we recommend that you actually only wear 1 layer. So just the first layer of wool clothing, that's it, because we provide you with these incredible sleeping bags. And now I'm a cold person, and I've never been as nice and warm in my life. I want to steal that sleeping bag. So this sleeping bag will keep you completely warm and safe throughout the night. And you sleep 1 night in this incredible snow hotel. You just sleep 1 night because that's the experience. Then we move you for the next 2 nights to your own private gamme cabin. So each of these cabins is for 2 people, so a couple or 1 child max to share with you. And you have the entire gamme cabin to yourself with this beautiful view, hopefully, of the Northern Lights right outside of your of the window. Now I'm going to take you even further north. And this is, I literally absolutely cannot take you further north than this. This is Svalbard. Again, look at the map, and I just want to highlight how incredibly north this is. So these are the islands of Svalbard. This is as close to the North Pole as you can get. I think you can wave to Santa. So you go here to a town called Longyearbyen in Svalbard, and this is a very unique experience, absolutely once in a lifetime. It is so far north that it is essentially completely dark in the winter months. And as an opposite, it is completely daylight and bright in the summer months. So basically in Svalbard, you could even be witnessing the Northern Lights at, during daytime hours, because it is dark enough. Here we do offer the same, fun winter activities as in the other cities. So we leave Longyearbyen and you can go husky riding, for example. And a few unique things that you will see. So Longyearbyen is the town. And in this town, I thought it was so surreal going there because there is a warning for polar bears. So polar bears live in Svalbard, but it is safe. The locals know what they're doing, but you have to follow their guidelines and their rules. The people there and the guides, they are armed, just for safety reasons for the polar bears. And for a small innocent Icelander like myself, I thought it was very bizarre walking around town where all these signs were, oh, please don't bring your guns into the shop when you're going to buy some milk. And I saw a mother with a kick sled in front of her with her children with a rifle on her back. I thought it was very surreal. The thing is that polar bears live there. It's incredibly rare that they come into the city of Longyearbyen. Very, very rare. So what happens is basically you cannot leave the safe zone, they call it, of Longyearbyen without a guide. So whenever you leave Longyearbyen, you have to be with an armed guide with you for safety reasons. So this, for example, was my guide on the snowmobile ride. So you can go snowmobiling, and just if you look at that picture here, you are so much in the middle of nowhere. It is incredible. And in the winter months, look at all of that snow. It's just breathtaking. You can explore some of the ice caves, natural ice caves in the glaciers there. And this building over here is a very special building, very, very special and very important to the world, because this is the Global Seed Vault. This building, located way up there in the north, is the building that keeps all of the seeds of the globe in case of a catastrophe, so we could rebuild again. You're not obviously allowed into the building, but you can go up to it and take a look at this famous seed vault. Speaking of polar bears, I just want to make you aware that if you're going to Svalbard, it is actually illegal to go on any kind of polar bear safaris or anything, because it is such a incredibly, they're almost extinct, the polar bears, so they are very, very protected. So there are no actual tours which take you out trying to find the polar bears or anything like that. If you want the highest chance of seeing them, the most likely way to do so would be to be sailing around the islands in a cruise, and during the summer months. That's when you're most likely to encounter some polar bear. And I think very quickly, almost out of breath, that I have given you at least a taste of what amazing Norway has to offer, and maybe given you some ideas of, do you want the fjords, do you want outdoors hiking, warm weather in the south, or are you looking for the winter magic that we offer in the north? So really, we have it all. I think we'll just open for questions.
Wow, thank you so much, Rannveig. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Every time I hear about Norway, and you just think this is just so spectacular in the summer and then completely different in the winter, it just blows my mind. It's amazing.
It is.
So
it definitely is.
Some questions. We have one question so far. So if you've got any questions, anyone, then feel free to either unmute yourself and ask them, or you can put them in the chat and we'll answer them. So the first question from Susan is, how many stays? So that was in Ålesund, I think, was it?
Oh, well done, Jane.
All the way up to the top, or if you were lazy, you could drive. So I think that was where that one came from. Correct?
I see you. So you were definitely listening to me.
It was there.
It was, in Ålesund. The hike up those stairs to the mountain is exactly 418 stairs.
Wow.
418.
That's a lot of stairs.
That's a lot of stairs. It took me a very long time because they made me, because I was in a group. So I tried to nag them and ask them to drive, but now we had to take the stairs. So worth it though. Oh, it was beautiful to see Ålesund from that angle.
I've got a couple of questions actually. So if you were to do it in the summer and you wanted to go to, you mentioned the islands that were quite high up.
Lofoten.
Yeah, what would you do? You'd go from Oslo to Bergen. Would you then have to fly up, or could you drive, or is it too far? Just how far are the distances between places?
Oh, it's very far. In fact, people don't really realize how long Norway is. It's kind of very, very long and narrow country. Fun fact, if you were to take the country and completely flip it over, it reaches Italy. I always find that an interesting fact. It's a very long country. Lofoten would take you a few days to reach. if you were to drive it from Oslo. So we recommend just to fly to Lofoten. So you would fly to Svolvær, which is kind of the capital, the main city of the islands. And you can connect and use domestic airlines from Oslo or Bergen to Svolvær, then pick up your car and explore Lofoten that way, rather than making that massive journey, unless you have the time. I mean, my family, we took a 3-week holiday driving from Oslo, taking some of the fjords and ending up in Lofoten. So there are, of course, many, many options. But if you want Lofoten alone, just fly there.
Wanted to do the other fjords, would you then, and you were self-driving obviously, would you drive from Oslo, or would you fly into Bergen and drive from Bergen, or could you do both?
Both, just basically whatever would suit you, depending on flight options. It's kind of, I personally kind of like combining the two, where you maybe start in Oslo, because Oslo is a lovely city to explore, and it is, of course, the capital. So pick up your car in Oslo, explore that a bit, do the self-drive to the fjords, different fjords depending on your interest, and ending in Bergen. Drop off your car there. So fly in Oslo, out Bergen. I personally think that's most ideal. Or Ålesund as well. So you could, drive Oslo to Ålesund and drop your car off in Ålesund to fly out from there, as an example. Stavanger, I recommend just to go directly to Stavanger. Just fly to Stavanger. It's a very big airport hub, basically. So, just go directly to that city and stay there.
Has anybody got any questions?
Got a question from Lorianne. Where would be the best place to go for cross-country skiing?
Everywhere.
Okay.
Honestly, we have about 50 pairs of, because my family, we've become so Norwegian. I live in Oslo, and we have cross-country skis dotted around the entire shed in our garden. We put them on at our house in Oslo, and just off you go. There are cross-country skiing paths literally everywhere. So that's obviously for the winter season. And I would recommend, if you're into cross-country skiing, to combine the both. Experience that in the north with the northern lights then as well. So yeah, I would recommend to enjoy that in the northern parts. But like I said, even Oslo, the cross-country skiing paths, they take you through lots of forest and everything just outside of Oslo as well. So you can absolutely do it everywhere.
Great.
There's actually even a skiing day in Norwegian schools. So once per week in the winter months, kids ski to school. And then go on little skiing tours in the forest around the school and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, the first time I sent my son to school with on skis, I thought it was very surreal. It was very special.
Anybody else got any more questions? And you're right, Christina, that does sound fun. I can imagine Timothy on his little skis when he grows up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Rannveig in Svalbard, I'm sorry about my pronunciation, was one of the James Bond films filmed there. Is there, am I right? Has there been James? Yeah. Was there James Bond? No?
I don't know, actually. I would have to find out. Not that I've heard of. I know James Bond has been,
I thought there was around there.
There was a shooting location in Iceland in a James Bond movie, in the glacier.
Are we getting our presentations mixed up then?
Oh, I can't tell you.
A few times. I remember you saying about James Bond. So.
Yeah, James Bond, it was shot that many movies have been shot in Iceland with all those glacial lagoons and stuff. But I can tell you, fun fact, all the Mission Impossible, I'm going to call it a franchise. So Mission Impossible, what's his name? Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Am I right? Remember Pulpit Rock, the flat rock that you could hike above the fjord? He hung on there in Mission Impossible movie. And he wasn't, it was not safe at all. It was absolute madness. That was actually shot now during COVID times there in the Lysefjord. So if you watch the new Mission Impossible, watch out for that rock.
Yeah.
When I hear of Svalbard, I think of His Dark Materials. And I know it's a fictional place. I don't know if anybody knows the books or the program or the films, but I know it's a sort of a fictional place in the books, where they've got armored bears, which are big armored polar bears in the books, and it's based in Svalbard. It's fabulous. It looks amazing.
You know what, Jane? I actually think you said it there. Svalbard feels actually fictional. I think you just, hit the nail on the head there, because that's how I felt when I was there. It just felt fictional. It was literally just like, is this place real? It's so unique.
Any more questions for Rannveig before we let her go? No? Susan says it's stunningly beautiful. Thank you. Yes, you are right, Susan. It does look absolutely amazing.
Certainly does.
No, it's amazing, yeah.
Well, for your 105th presentation, Rannveig, you've done amazingly well again.
Yeah, my 105th, so I'm sorry, I have stopped putting on mascara and,
All stop putting on mascara for you. Well, back to meeting face to face, we'll all have a bit of a shock.
Definitely.
Like in real life. Yeah.
Christina says, thank you, really enjoyed it. Can't wait to plan a trip. Love hiking. Yeah.
Oh, God. Then Norway is a place for you. Oh, hiking paradise, wherever you go. I'm still checking off my bucket list. So I hope that this May I'll go to the Trollston, for example. Endless bucket list hiking options in Norway.
I will go one day for definite. Maybe
My partner has been 18 times because he was stationed there with the army an awful lot and still wants to come back. So yeah, definitely it'll be on our list.
Definitely.
And what Genevieve says, looks fabulous. Do hope I can go soon. Thank you. Great presentation. So yeah, we'll second that. Thank you, Rannveig.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Amazing presentation again.
Thank you.
Yeah, on my go-to list, on my to-go list, sorry, yeah. It is definitely one of those bucket list destinations. You don't really think about it until you actually realise just how amazing the scenery is there. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. There's no more questions. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Sharon, what's our next one? I can never remember. My memory's like a sieve.
Our next one, I think, is river cruises, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, river cruises.
So look out for the email invites for that one.
Yeah, we'll get them out.
And yeah, thank you very much, Rannveig. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.